Hello, BookTube. It is Labor Day. So, for those of you who labor, it is your day off. Now, I got tagged by Richardson Reads to do the Guilty Book Tag, Guilty Reader Book Tag. Um, and. Oh, crap, what did I do? Okay. Sorry. Um, so he's got a great channel, by the way, and awesome books. So go check that out. So let's get cracking. Um, have you ever re-gifted a book that you have been given? Don't think so. I don't think so. Um, have you ever said you read a book when you haven't? In school, all the time. All the time. Um, my entire high school career, I did about an hour and a half of homework, and an hour of that, like all 4 years, and an hour of that was my senior year. So, um, didn't really do a lot. Uh, have you ever borrowed a book and not returned it? Yes, from friends and from the library. I know. For some fucking reason, I don't know why I did this, but I was probably 18 and I checked out the Vince Lombardi playbook from like the 60s, and it was this like massive hardcover thing. And for some reason, I just thought I would be better off with it or something. I don't know. But if I was really a dick, I would have kept those Crestwood horror books. Those were the best. But so there's that. Um, and from Friends, the funny thing is the books from Friends, it's usually when someone gives me a book and tells me I'll love it, and like I seriously have no intention of reading it. For some reason, those are the ones that never end up going back to the people. Whereas a book that I really like, um, I'll read it and give it right back. So I could talk to the person about it and have like a big old like, oh my gosh. Da, da, da. So that's weird. And I think on one of my garage hauls out of my garage, um, I showed a couple books that I know aren't mine, but I have no idea where they came from. So there's that. Let me see. Next question. My phone keeps shutting off. Have you ever read a series out of order? Yes, and that series is Children of a Dead Earth. This is the only time I've ever done it. I am so OCD when it comes to reading stuff in order that is supposed to be read in order. Now, like the Agatha Christie Poirot books, like I started reading out of order and then noticed that, especially when Hastings is in the story, they talk about other cases they've done. So I'm trying to do those in order now, although I don't think I am. But those you don't really need to read in order. The Carter Brown books you don't need to read in order. Nick Carter, like on the I don't even think we posted it yet. There are issues you have to read you have to read some of the books in order when they're written by certain authors. But Nick Carter's a house name, so there was a ton of people who wrote those books. So if you run into one that tries to string the novels that they wrote together, then like yeah. But in a general like series where um one book is like predicated on another book and da, 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 and like everything you have to read. Yeah, I did that once and I hated it. And the whole time I did it, I felt really dirty. Like I felt like I was doing something naughty and I shouldn't be doing it. So there's that. Um, have you ever spoiled a book for somebody? I really hope not. Spoiling is like pretty close to like the top sin you could do. I remember we had a bunch of people over for them to watch Twin Peaks, and we were going to get together every Sunday and watch it because a bunch of my friends had never seen it. So this fucking asshole, who I didn't even like, he was a friend of someone else, was there, and right as the credits started for the first episode, he blurted out, like, who killed Laura, and I almost beat his ass. I kicked him out of my house. I had a fucking total breakdown, like that's just, like, not okay, and, like, I just wanted to, like, crack his freaking head open. Whew, I'm getting all mad just talking about it. So anyway, I hope I've never done that. Anyway, let's see here. Have you ever dog-eared a book? Yeah, but not in a long time. Like, if it's a book of mine that is beat to shit, that I beat to shit from just reading it over and over again, I don't care. But like if it's a book like I get from a used bookstore that I'm trying to like keep in readable condition or something like that, I won't do it. And if it's a brand new book, which honestly I almost never get brand new books, I will never do that. But like, I'll just grab it. Like my copy of Breakfast of Champions, it's like wrecked and like pages are coming out of it and stuff, and like I would dog ear the shit out of this. I don't care, but I normally always have bookmarks, and one thing I've been wanting to do lately, I saw Steve do that video about your like computer bag or messenger bag and what's in it and stuff. I really want to do something with that because I always have bookmarks. Every time I go to like a used bookstore that has like free bookmarks, I'll just grab a shit ton. I have bookmarks from my books that we used to give out and stuff. So there's always bookmarks around. I used to use receipts for the book I bought. When I was reading books in the bathroom, I would use a square of toilet paper. That's pretty gross, but I know y'all do it, so don't try to act all cool. Um, but yeah, so the dog earing the page, it does happen. Very rarely, though. Have you ever told someone you don't own a book when you do? I don't think so. And I think this, like, some of these questions are like referring almost like to Twilight or something. Like people are like ashamed that they read it or whatever. I read all of the Twilight books. I didn't own them. I borrowed them and gave them right back so I could talk all about them. but I don't think I've ever told someone I didn't own a book just so they wouldn't want to borrow it. Oh, no, 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 that wasn't it. Have you ever told someone you haven't read a book when you have? Yeah, and this is a little weird, but when I was like 13, I was trying to get into some really dark shit because I thought that would be like super fucking cool. And it was very much like rebellion from my parents. But I went to the library and I got all these books on like black magic and witchcraft and all this stuff from the library. And my mom found them in my room and like flipped out and asked me if I read them. I'm like, no, those are my friends. They left them here on accident. I'll take them back to them tomorrow. And I had read like both of them and was even trying to capture the clearest May dew to do some kind of spell or something. But then the logical side of me was like, so which day of May's dew is the clearest? Does that mean I have to collect dew from every day of May and hope that, and like kind of guess which one's clearer than the other and stuff like that? It was just way too complicated. Like, I figured if I really wanted to, like, ruin somebody's life, I could do it a lot easier, a lot quicker without witchcraft. So, that's kind of fun. Let's see here. Have you ever skipped a chapter or section of a book? Yeah, when I'm doing like researchy stuff, like if I'm trying to get to the bottom of something, or if I'm reading like the big book of pulps, like there are tons of stories in there, and with those, like I'll read the authors I like first and then start kind of going through it. In like one book that's like narrative, like the whole thing's like one book. I think if I get to the point where I don't want to read a chapter or something, I'll just like DNF it or something. But I try not to do that because of my like OCD stuff. It makes me feel weird. Like I have to finish a book even if I hate it, which is awful. But I think I DNF'd 2 books this year, and I still feel really awkward about it. I'm trying to think. There's times when like I'll read parts of a book faster than others, and like I don't really get as much comprehension of those points because the book is just like fucking boring, or nothing's happening, or like sometimes you're reading a book and like like, oh, this character is so fucking minor, they'll be killed by the end of this chapter. I don't want to read anything from their point of view or something like that. But yeah, I really try not to do that, because if that's the case, then I'll just like put it aside or just not finish it. Have you ever badmouthed a book you actually liked? Yes, and the reason is when I review books right after I read them. Because usually when I read a book, I'm reading it because something about it caught my attention, and I'm reading it because I expect something from that book. And so I'll read it, and if I don't get the thing that I expected, I get really pissed off. And I have been known to review books quite harshly right after I read them. And then, like, thinking back on them, I realized, like, I read that book in a day, and I was, like, on the edge of my seat the whole time. It was riveting. Like, yeah, things happened that I didn't like, and it didn't end the way I wanted it to end. And there were problems with this, and that. But it was exciting, and I enjoyed it, or whatever, you know? Um, Another, like, what was the third book of that trilogy, Children of the Divide? I probably did a scathing review on BookTube, and then I wrote a review that was very harsh, I thought. But I was just like venting, and I never put it up because after thinking about it, the book was entertaining and I enjoyed it. But I was really pissed off at how it dealt with the other two books that I hadn't read yet. And so I was really pissed off about that. But yeah, and then like I just read Player Piano again for like the first time in 20 years by Kurt Vonnegut. And that was always like my least favorite Vonnegut book. I thought it was like overwritten and dull, and the characters in it weren't memorable, and just like there were a lot of things that I used to not like about it. And then reading it recently again, it was amazing, and it spoke to me on a different level because I'm an older reader now, compared to when I first read it. So yeah, so that's the, let me see here. Is that it? Yes. That is the Guilty Reader book tag, and thank you to Richardson Reads for tagging me in it. I want to tag people, and I have to figure out who I want to tag. I don't know exactly who's done it and who hasn't, because I think this has been around for a little bit. I think I remember seeing other people do this a while ago. Let me see. All right, so if you have done it, great. If you just ignore me. The Shades of Orange, Words of a Reader, World of Sleuths, Sadie Hartman, Plots and Points, Peter Clark, the writer, One Man Reads, James Chatham, Amy at Dusty Bookshelf, and I guess that's it. Anyone who's watching this, do it and let me know you did it, and I'll go over and give it a look see. So until next time, everybody. Bye.